Come on. You're not going to do a planting. I guess it's not live. That totally ruins everything. You're right. Never mind.
It's like, yeah, see, I
Salsa
can't.
garden recorded.
There we go. We got it. We got Chris to do it.
With jazz hands, even. That was awesome.
All right. How's it going, everybody? Sorry that the live video wasn't working. We're still working on ways to fix that, and hopefully we can get it fixed. I'm not sure why.
You know, it's the weirdest thing, because, we haven't changed anything.
Yeah, I don't know. So we're gonna do this. It's going to be up a little bit later than we had anticipated, but we will be sure to get this up right away. So we're going to talk about growing a salsa garden. Salsa is one of the things on my mind whenever I plant my garden.
Absolutely.
That and salads. But are you a hot salsa guy or a mild salsa guy?
Oh, it's gotta burn.
It's gotta burn.
It's gotta burn.
We didn't have any habaneros at the store, so we didn't get
Not
any
yet.
of those. But I did get some jalapenos. And we've got some other things to plant here, so we're going to kind of go through that and show you what to do for planting a salsa garden. And a lot of this stuff kind of goes along with just regular gardening stuff as well, so it kind of fits in all that. Unfortunately, we can't do the questions live, but absolutely ask questions in the link of the video, and we will answer them as they come through, and we'll get all your questions answered so you can have a great garden this year as well. So let's start with, I think, kind of the creme de la creme, the centerpiece of a salsa garden, really any garden. Let's start with a tomato.
Yeah, nice.
So there's a lot of different varieties of tomato.
Hundreds. But
Yeah.
it's gotta be the one thing that everybody plants.
Yeah, I think everybody plants a tomato. I mean, if you don't do anything, you plant a tomato.
Mm-hmm.
And what's your kind of go-to variety when it comes to salsa tomato?
The San Marzano Roma is always my favorite.
It's a Roma variety?
Yep, it's a Roma variety,
Gotcha.
and that's always been my go-to.
So Romas are a bit smaller, but they're fleshier. They don't have as much water in them.
Mm-hmm.
And the selection on this, the Roma or the San Marzano is going to be a little light just yet. So we're still pretty early. It's only mid-April. So we still don't have everything that we're going to have in. But the planting of a tomato is going to be the same. So you don't have to worry about, what we're going to show you is not the variety you should choose for a good salsa. But how to plant a tomato is kind of universal. It's going to be the same.
Absolutely.
So let's go ahead and start with that. I think Chris is probably better than I am at planting a tomato.
Are you kidding? He uses
Salsa.
Italian tomatoes in his salsa.
Yeah, salsa and marinara. They're the best. This one is a big beef, but like you said, that'd be a great slicing tomato.
Yeah, and I wanted to get a tomato that was at kind of a good size to kind of just show folks kind of the process and what you kind of do. So this was kind of the larger one. Like I said, it's not the best variety for a salsa garden, but it's still a good tomato.
The tomatoes are just starting to come in.
Yeah.
In a normal year, this is almost too early to plant.
I think we did the same video last year, and it worked live, but it was way colder than it is this year.
Yeah, way colder. We were in jackets. Yeah. But I would, there's all these lower leaves on it, so when I'm planting a tomato, I would actually pick all those lower leaves off and get a pretty good stem. I'm even going to do that one. See, the deeper you plant a tomato, all this will root out if it's below the soil. So I'm going to plant it clear up to that first set of stems there. And if it's a real leggy tomato, you could actually plant it sideways and actually train leaves up. But this one's got a pretty good thick stem on it. So I love the tomato boom. If you guys have never tried the tomato boom, it's got a ton of alfalfa meal, which Nolan's favorite word.
That good stuff.
Yeah, releases tricantanol into the soil.
The good stuff.
Yeah, that's right. So I'm gonna put a good couple handfuls in there. It's actually a little deep for what we're doing.
And that's actually not bad because you want to get that, having that extra layer of fertilizer down there. As the roots grow in, they're going to find that extra fertilizer, and then they'll have some more stuff to eat.
Yeah, as Jim calls it, little pockets of love.
Yeah.
But you can see how big of a hole we dug for that little tiny tomato. Yeah. Just like that. So all that stem will root out and it'll just be more established as the season goes on. Alright, do that and then I like top dress
Even
again.
more. It's
Little
not going to
more
be
boom.
wanting for food, that's for sure.
Yeah, there we go. That is a beautiful tomato.
Now, normally at this time of year, you'd probably, to plant a tomato this early, you're going to want to put a wall of water on it. We're going to show you how to do the wall of water on a pepper, but I wanted to just bring that up now because normally I would put the wall of water on right now and then go on with your cage. So you definitely want to get the cage on at planting time, because if you try to put the cage on after you've planted, after it started growing, it's way harder to work that cage around a tomato that's already growing.
Yeah, you'll start breaking stems and
So get the cage on right when you're done. You're good to go. Get the cage on it. You're going to be way happier with the cage, and it's going to just perform better anyway. And Chris really thinks highly of himself. He got these really big cages.
Yeah, you made fun of me last year, saying you'll never reach to the top. They spilled over, and we're coming back down.
Whatever.
Last year, so.
Whatever.
I was going to joke about your tiny cage. But
It's small.
So that's it. That's it for a tomato. You don't need to do much more. Like I said, you would probably want to get that wall of water on it right now because we are still in frost danger. And then I would go ahead and just give it a good drink of Thrive too. And you're set. Your tomatoes are gonna go. They're starting. Not gonna do a whole lot for a few weeks.
No,
It's gonna be pretty.
It's gonna be all root growth.
Gonna be really slow. The weather's warming up, so we might see growth a little bit earlier than we probably usually do. But we still have that frost danger for another couple weeks, so you definitely got to be ready to protect them.
when the beefsteak dies, you can just plant your Roma.
Yeah, there you go.
It's not gonna die. Well, Chris planted it, so. All right, so let's move on to the peppers. So I got a couple of peppers here. Like Chris said, he's a hot pepper guy. I also prefer. Did I almost break your sprinkler? I almost did.
They grow back.
Do they?
So the next video Noel will be doing is sprinkler repair.
So this is a jalapeno, and I did get this at the store yesterday. So we do have some jalapenos. Some of your hotter peppers aren't going to be available just yet. Habaneros, your kind of ultimate that you're going to really find, I think, for the most part. But those will usually come in, and they're going to be a lot smaller. Jalapenos, and that's the other thing with peppers, is they don't typically get very large. You're never going to get like a pepper, like a tomato.
Right.
Yeah. The best I've really gotten is probably a couple foot at that, but it'll produce a ton of peppers on them. You'll get a lot.
Just an insane amount, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to go ahead and plant this pepper. And even though it's called Tomato Boom, we can still use that on our peppers. No reason not to. It's still just a good fertilizer. It's got some specific things for tomatoes, but really any plant's going to really benefit from Tomato Boom. Now, unlike your tomatoes, you don't want to plant this deep. You're going to plant it at soil level. So this is still pretty high, so we're going to get a little more soil in there. And I would say maybe even just a touch more, because we don't need that. But again, we got that first layer of Tomato Boom down there, so as the roots reach it, it's going to find that food and do good things for it as it really starts to warm up. And peppers really need a lot of heat. They need that warmth to really start hitting that growth spurt. If they don't have heat, they're not going to do anything. So again, it's still pretty cold, and I don't like any of that soil to be right on that stem. You want to keep it really clean right around there, because if there's soil right on that stem, it can rot out and really slow them down, if not kill them right off. So you want to make sure it's pretty clean out there. Chris does a good job of keeping the weeds out. A lot better than I do.
Hate the weeds.
So that's all you need to know for planting a pepper. Like I said, you get that Tomato Boom on there. I'm going to go ahead and do what Chris did. This is more than I would use, but it's gardening.
It takes a while for that to break down. It takes about 6 weeks before it's actually usable.
It's gardening. There's different ways to do it. So
Yeah.
we've already filled up this wall of water. If you've never done these before, good tip, get a bucket in there. These guys were laughing at me earlier for trying to fill it up without the bucket, and then use the bucket. It was way easier.
Yeah,
We should have filmed it.
We should have. It was pretty good.
It was
There
pretty
was too much swearing.
And then we filled the cells with the water can. Right now it's full of Thrive, so I don't want to do that. But
Yeah, we're not going to do that.
Bet.
But from there, I think you need to take that bucket out because it's a little stuck in there. There we go. And you're just going to get it right around there. And because the cells are all filled up, it'll actually hold up itself. And you're set. And that's just going to keep the frost out. And you can actually kind of...
Yeah, close them up so the sun will heat those cells up through the day, and then at night that heat's released down into the soil.
It's also, yeah, and it's warming up the soil while it's sitting there. So it's doing a lot of work, and those peppers want the soil to be warm. And the temperature's just been so nice.
Yeah.
It makes us feel like it's time to plant already, but we still really got a lot of time. So it's not too bad if you can't get it on now. And then,
yeah,
just get some thrive in there.
Well, and we're still in the 30s in the morning, which, the soil's a lot different than the air. It's a lot colder down there than it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, and especially I've already mulched, which I usually recommend. I recommend not doing that.
So I like to do a couple of different peppers with my salsa. What kind of peppers do you usually go with?
Man, we usually do about 6 varieties. So,
Peppers?
Yeah, I love peppers.
That's awesome.
Everything. Yeah, sweet bananas.
Why haven't I ever had any?
I don't know. We got a ton of peppers.
Anyway, so I grabbed a couple peppers here. We got our jalapeno, which is going to give you your heat. But I like a bell pepper, any of those.
Poblanos.
Yeah,
are my favorite.
really any of those
I
kind of
love
meaty
poblanos.
peppers are really good to have in a salsa. It brings a lot of bulk, a lot of added flavor, a lot of depth to it, and
Ton of flavor.
it's not gonna. They're not gonna overheat it. Like if you're going to do a mild salsa, really you're just gonna take out your jalapeno, take out your habanero, and you're just doing a bell pepper. And I suppose you could do a salsa without a pepper at all, but
Damn.
I don't know why you would. I don't know why you would. Peppers are so good. I've actually read and heard a lot of things about green peppers. Do you usually grow a green pepper? So some people kind of poo-poo green peppers. Have you ever heard that?
No.
I don't know why, 100%, but they have a different flavor, I think, than like your reds or your yellows. But I've just kind of not been buying green peppers. And I've been
love
really
green
happy
peppers.
with just red peppers, yellow peppers, orange ones. I think they have a lot of flavor, but the green ones have a different flavor, I think. And I think it has to do with just typically if you were to let like a Big Bertha or a California Wonder green pepper go, it's going to turn red eventually.
Yeah.
And I think
Probably too ripe.
yeah, I think
Yeah,
typically
they're not-
that's what it is. Green
lose
peppers
that
are just
crisp.
they're not ripe enough, but they do have that crunch, which is really a nice add to a salsa, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we're not going to go ahead and plant this one. It's going to be the same as your jalapeno. Again, it's still too cold. Got to have that wall of water, and you'll be in good shape getting that. This guy's going to start growing, and he's going to be real happy. So those are your peppers, and I think that's like your main base for a salsa, right? Is a tomato and a pepper. What's the other thing that you typically add to a salsa?
I love doing shallots, garlic, a little bit of lime, cilantro.
I liked our joke when we was it you? We were talking about buying a lime tree, so you remember to go buy limes.
That's right.
Same with an avocado tree.
Yeah,
That's right.
exactly. Get those things so you remember to go buy them from the store for your salsa. Because chances are they're nice plants, but they're not going to give you enough to really do much. So,
No.
let's move down. Let's move down the row a little bit. We got a few more things to plant here. I got some cilantro. Are you a cilantro guy?
I am. My wife
So-
is not.
So, and that's I find
There's
that
two kinds of
interesting.
people in this world.
Right,
Really.
there's those that like cilantro and those that don't.
Yep.
I grown to love cilantro mostly because Becca insists on cilantro being on things, and so I've grown to really enjoy it. I really like
really
cilantro.
like it.
I think it adds a lot, but it does have a flavor, and some people just don't like it.
Strong flavor.
I like
Yeah,
cilantro
it's
until
over-
I can taste it, and
Yeah.
then it's too much.
It doesn't take much.
No.
Yeah, no,
Over
that's the
power
thing.
with
And I was trying to
cilantro.
think about it has a similar like flavor, not flavor, but like it hits you in the same place as something like coffee, or and some
See, she
people
doesn't like coffee.
yeah. See, there you
See
go.
what I mean?
And some people will say like coffee. Have you ever heard of somebody who said they'd never smelled a skunk?
No.
There are people that don't smell skunk, and when I've pointed it out to them, they said it smells like coffee. And I think there's something about that smell that hits people a certain way. Wherever it hits you on your receptor, it just kind of triggers some different thing. So what's weird is that some people drink coffee and think it smells like skunk. which I think is weird. But cilantro has that same sort of thing. It hits you in a different place, and I don't know if it's like something you got to kind of work on to kind of get used to, or what it is exactly. So cilantro certainly divides people. I do like it, especially like if I'm making a fish taco. Man, you gotta have it.
I agree.
I made some tacos with some venison a couple weeks ago. Oh man, with cilantro. So good. All right, so cilantro seeds. These are nice. These are bigger seeds, so you don't have to be super. I mean, I say bigger; they're relative, but they're a bigger seed.
Good size seed.
It's not a pumpkin seed, but
Yeah, it's not a strawberry seed though either.
yeah. So you don't have to be. You know, I think with a lot of people when it comes to seeds is they try to get really specific with it, and I've just kind of thrown that out the window. Like I don't worry about it. I'm just going to get them in there, and it'll say on the package to thin them to so many inches apart, right? And that's kind of what you want to do. You want to get, when I buy a packet of seeds, I use everything that's in there, and then I thin it out. Do you save them?
I do.
I stopped doing that a few years ago, and I'll tell you what, I'm just happier with myself. So I'm just going to get them out there, and honestly,
my wife's going to love that we planted cilantro.
Well, you can give it all to me. I'll eat it.
Yeah, because there's about 3 years worth of cilantro right there.
Well, and you know, it's the other thing too is that this isn't probably the best. If you want to really utilize your salsa, really kind of time it well, this is too early for cilantro. Cilantro is only, what was it? It's 65 days, 65 days to maturity.
Oh, yeah.
Those peppers are 90 plus. That tomato's probably also 90 plus. So you're looking at an extra 30 days where this cilantro is going to be ready. Your tomatoes and your peppers aren't. So realistically, if you want your cilantro with your salsa, you're going to want to hold off planting your cilantro. The other thing you want to do is put it in a shadier spot. I think this is a good spot for it on this side of the house.
Yeah, especially this corner.
This corner of Chris's house. Way. Yeah. You got more sun down there. We're going to get shade earlier here, and your cilantro is really going to prefer that. They're not going to want to be hot. They want to be on the cooler side, which is contradictory to these other things. So you want it to be in shade as early as possible and for as long as possible, because otherwise they're going to bolt, and that means they're going to go set flowers, and we don't want them to do that. So Chris has got a good layer of compost here, so I don't know if we really need to do any kind of fertilizer for this. And really all we're going to do, this stuff's good to go. I would actually, I'll take that back. We do want to put some Thrive on it.
Absolutely.
But there we go. We've got our cilantro planted. And you're going to, like I said, you're going to have a lot more of it than you really need. But that's okay, because you're going to be able to pull that and use some of it right away. In that process of thinning them out, you've already got a little bit. They're smaller cilantros, but you're going to start being able to use it a little bit faster. So that's about it for planting cilantro. Like I said, we want to get the Thrive on there. Where'd you put that Thrive?
Good old Thrive. You can't go wrong. I probably would have had that little shower nozzle on there.
Use your hand.
Oh, this compost is a little hydrophobic.
Right now. It's soaking it up pretty good.
Yeah, nice. Beautiful.
There you go. And quick tip, always mark it. Put something down to remember what it is. You don't want to come back here in a couple weeks and try to figure out what it is. Chances are you'll remember at some point.
Yeah, once it starts putting on the leaves, you go, oh yeah.
When they're so new, though, it's so easy to be like, oh, I got weeds like crazy over here.
Yeah. Okay, so we've covered tomatoes, we've got our peppers, we've got cilantro. What else do we need, Chris?
Gotta have some onions.
Gotta have some onions. All right. I'm going to let you do onions. So we got some bunching onions here.
Nice. What variety?
I don't remember which one I
Chris's
grabbed.
shallots, he prepared that ahead of time.
Oh yeah, a bunch of onions. Yeah, so then we have some shallots here, and then garlic, of course, which that you have to plant in the fall.
Yeah.
So I did this.
Did we have any garlic this year? I know last year we had a ton.
We usually do get some started.
Yeah.
It's not here yet, but yeah, I put those in last October, end of October. And then the shallots just last night. Planted those, and you'll do those the exact same way as the bunching onions. Which I didn't know we had bunching onions in yet.
I just found them at Nampa.
Nice. They always come in a clump like that. You'll break them apart, just like we did that. And don't worry about damaging them. They're going to be all right. So literally you just pull them apart. So you got your little bunches all together, or not all together.
Yeah, they come apart pretty easy.
They
really,
do.
Once you kind of get them unraveled.
Get that soil.
Yeah, and they got good roots on them already, so.
Yeah, they do. Yes, that's pretty much it. And then just I'm pulling into your cilantro.
Dang it! Just everybody remember, Chris ruined the cilantro from here back.
Good man. Even though, I hear the same thing about onions as far as hitting you different. And
Yeah.
people having different receptors that taste onions differently.
Yeah, it's fascinating stuff.
Yeah, that is, again, literally it for onions. Pull them apart, a few inches apart, especially the bunching onions.
Because you're gonna get a
big
lot of little,
bulbous,
a lot of little bulbs off of them. And the greens are good for them too. So you can keep the greens, chop those up in it, just like a green onion, and use that in your salsa as well. Give a little extra onion flavor. When it comes to onions and garlic, I usually double up whatever I usually do. Like whatever it says, I'm gonna go with more because I like those flavors.
The same.
So
Love them.
So that's kind of it for the planting of those varieties. These are the things that I think are pretty necessary. I can't really think of anything else that I put in my salsas. Anything else you usually do?
That's usually it. Tomatoes,
Yeah.
peppers, onions, garlic.
Garlic, cilantro. It's an
Cilantro.
easy place to start. If you are just getting into gardening, this is a really easy way to start getting, gardening with a purpose. That's really what it comes down to, is you've got a plan. You're focusing on fewer things instead of trying to get tons of stuff. You're focusing on a few things, and you can get those done well and right and have a good harvest and have a really good afternoon of eating salsa. Or 2 or 3 or 5.
And you can experiment with it. We did a sun gold tomato, little cherry
Yeah.
tomato salsa last year. It was
Oh, I
fantastic.
bet that was
Any
amazing.
any
Great.
of the
A lot of
tomatoes that are
flavor.
going to be meatier. So even like a sweet 100 would be a good one for a salsa. Do you blanch your tomatoes before you make them or before a salsa?
Usually not in a salsa.
Yeah, I have in the past, and anymore I'm kind of like, I don't need to do
Nip.
that.
Just dice.
Yeah, dice them up and put them in a food processor, and I'm happy. So let's talk about real quick some of the things you want to think about for keeping these guys healthy throughout the year. So I brought a few things. A few of the things that I kind of keep on hand at all times. The first one's the Bug and Slug Killer. We talk about this one a ton. Earwigs are a huge problem, especially like with your cilantro. They're not going to really mess a ton with your peppers or your tomatoes. They can get in there, but this stuff is really good because it's organic and it's more of a bait. So you're not going to put piles of it on. You're just going to really shake it out. Over your area like that, and honestly, like that's about as much as you really need.
Yeah, I think that bottle covers
3,000 square feet.
3,000 square feet.
Yeah.
Yeah. This covers a big area, and
That's my entire backyard.
yeah, you're gonna put this on a couple times a year. It works great. It's organic, and
Well,
probably
it lasts for a month, which
yeah.
is awesome for organics.
probably the best thing you can use for earwigs. It does slugs and snails and things, but we don't have a huge issue with those all the time. Earwigs are really the big thing.
Yep.
So this is my go-to for any of those. It's super easy to use. And then that's the other one I always have.
Yeah, last call, really good, especially if you're growing like Swiss chard or some of your leafy greens. They'll get leaf miner in them. This is a great one to use to keep the leaf miner out. And again, all natural. Yeah, it's just using a bacteria to kill. But,
It's actually
yeah.
the same bacteria that's in the Bug and Slug Killer.
It is, yeah. The spinosyn.
But it's a spray-on formula. So you're going to put it on, you're going to get it up on the leaves, which is just going to control different bugs. So in leaf miners, it's great.
Yeah.
Honestly, personally, I don't have a lot of issues with bugs on my peppers and tomatoes. Do you
I
ever
don't
have
either.
issues?
Not on those two, no.
Tomatoes
usually-
especially.
Yeah, never.
Yeah, like I get problems with like my cabbages, spinach, anything that's really leafy, lettuces. You're going to get like your leaf miners and things like that, and that's where you're going to find your earwigs. But these two products here, honestly, I think you can kind of cover your bug bases with just these two, and they're organic, so you don't have to worry about using them in the garden and then eating them, because I think your date of harvest time is like 1 day on those, if that. So very good to use, very easy, and just kind of takes a lot of the guesswork out of it. If you need some other things, we've always got other stuff. The next one up I would go with would be, well, I almost got
a lot of birds.
The next one I would use would be neem, I think is my other kind of go-to that I usually have. But, you know, honestly, I found with these two, I've got it covered, so.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, again, sorry that the live feed didn't work. I'm going to get this up right away, which you're at the end of it now, so you don't care. You've already watched it. Appreciate your patience, and like I said, reach out to us, ask questions, and we will get back to you as soon as we can, and we'll try to figure out the live feed so we can do something else and have it work. All right, thanks a lot, everyone. We'll talk to you again soon.